Hi everybody, the topic of this video is going to be about Elliot waves and the guidelines that surround them. I'll be going over the Fibonacci guidelines for each wave in particular and touch on Elliot channels to find wave 5 targets at the end of the video. And I will provide the PDF I am reading from with the video. So, to start, I guess we should go over the lengths of each wave and how to find the beginning and the end of them. So this should be fairly straightforward, but the length of wave 1 is of course our starting point and the first high of the impulse wave. And wave 2 is from the top of our last high to a retrace level. Wave 3 is going to be from the bottom of that last retrace to our next high. And wave 4 is going to be much like wave 2. It's the high of wave 3 down to a retrace point. And wave 5 is from the base of 4 to the tip. I'll draw a basic Fibonacci Elliot wave here, and I'll just show you how I calculate things. So usually what I do to start out is place a fib on our impulse wave. So the 0 should be at the bottom and the 1 should be at the top. And this gives us extension levels, and if we double click on our fib, we get the settings for it, and we can enable some if we need them, or we can disable them if we don't want them right now. I have a group of presets actually, and there's a few ways to simplify things once you get the hang of it, so I'll maybe show these in a different video. Okay, so if this is our wave, let's just go through the fibs without applying them to a chart first. So like I said, wave 1 is our impulse wave. We're largely in the dark at this point. What we're looking for is a wave 2 retracement from a high that matches up with guidelines for Fibonacci. So ratios for wave 2. Wave 2 is always related to wave 1, and the common ratios are either 50% of wave 1 or 62% of wave 1. In this PDF, 62% is the 0.618 fib in TradingView. So let's just draw this out. We'll draw the Elliot wave here to match some ideals, I guess. So like I said, I usually start with putting a fib on the first impulse wave, and this will come in handy later. When I'm looking for wave 2, the way to find it is to put a fib with 0 starting at the top and the base down at level 0, I guess, or the beginning of the impulse wave. And what we're looking for is a 0.618 or a 0.5 retrace. Remember, the 0 has to be on the top, the 1 at the bottom if we're calculating retracements. So 50% or 62%. Looks like I drew this bang on, but yeah, 62% is there, and that's a valid retrace. If the price starts moving up from there, we can say that we have wave 1 and wave 2. One way I like to speed this up is actually I'll just remove this fib. If we place this a little bit wider, what we're going to find is actually the 0.382 retrace here is actually the 0.618 that we drew previous. And the 0.5 is half, so that should be fairly straightforward. It's always going to be half. And well, just for demonstration, I'll draw this here just to show you. I'll just put these prices to the right. So the 0.618 on this side is the 0.382 on this side. The 0.5 is the 0.5 on both. Yeah. So hopefully that speeds things up for you guys. So I'll leave that there. For calculating wave 3, generally what we want to do at this point is make sure that the price, bounces nice off of, one of these fibs, and then we can start calculating wave 3. So it's quite simple. Again, these are guidelines, but ratios for wave 3. Wave 3 is related to wave 1 by one of the following. Wave 3 is either 1.62, the length of wave 1, 2.62, or 4.25. So we already have a fib drawn for wave 1, and we don't need to move it in this case. So let's say we're just going for the 1.62 fib here, which is an extension of wave 1, and let's say it stops there. Let's, if the price comes up, it's either going to hit this fib first, or the 2.62 fib, or the 4.25. So let me just add the 4.25 fib as well. So as we're coming up, we can say targets are these 3 fib lines. We can say, if the price holds above this fib, the target will be this fib. If the price holds above this fib, the target will be this one. Generally speaking, it'll never go past that. It might overshoot a bit, but that's fine. So yeah, we'll leave that there. Let's just say, in this example, that the price only got to the 1.62 fib, and we'll go from there. So again, we're looking for signs here, a long pin bar or something of the sort to say that, yeah, we're going down. And then you can start calculating where the bottom of wave 4 is going to be. So wave 4. Wave 4 is related to wave 3 by one of the following. Wave 4 equals either 24% of wave 3, 38% of wave 3, or 50% of wave 3. So we're going to draw a retracement fib on wave 3. So for retracement, we're going to start at the bottom and draw to the top. So we're looking for our 0 fib to be on the top and the 1 at the bottom. And we've lined that up at the bottom of wave 2, which is the start of wave 3. And we're ending it at the top of wave 3. So we're looking for a retrace of 24, 38, or 50%. That would be, that would be here, here, or here. So let's just say it bounced there, and we'll continue on. Hopefully that should be pretty straightforward. Ratios for wave 5. This is where it gets interesting, because we have a lot of data at this point. If things are Bouncing off fibs as expected, it's great. You know, we have a lot of confidence at this point because it's gone well so far and we only have one wave to go. So ratios for wave 5. There's a few different examples here, and they're based off of wave 3. So this is saying if wave 3 is greater than 1.62 or extended, we haven't gone over extended, but we'll maybe touch on that later, then wave 5 ratios are as follows. Wave 5 equals wave 1, or 1.62 times wave 1, or 2.62 times wave 1. We're not going to use this here because our wave 3 in this example only went to 1.62. So in this case, we're going to use these guidelines. When wave 3 is less than 1.62, the fifth wave overextends itself. From research, the ratio of wave 5 will be based on the entire length from the beginning of wave 1 to the top of wave 3. So extended wave 5 equals either 0.62 times length, which is the beginning of wave 1 to top of wave 3, or length of beginning of wave 1 to top of wave 3, or 1.62 that length. So it kind of shows you how to measure it here. So let's draw that now. I actually haven't ever had to draw this before, so we're doing an extension, so we'll start at the top. We'll draw it down to our 0 level. And here we go. So now that we have our fibs drawn in place, okay, so it can be either 0.62, 1, or 1.62. I'm not sure what they mean actually by either 0.62 times length. Uh, 0.62 the length, so I might have drawn this wrong. So the length in this case, okay. I haven't drawn this wrong, but what we need to do in this case is actually move this up. So all we're going to do, now that we've drawn it in place, is move the bottom up to the bottom of wave 4 here. And you'll see as we do that, because we're in a logarithmic chart, things kind of compress there, but that's fine. If we switch to a linear chart, you'll notice that that doesn't happen. Let's go back to log here. Okay, so hopefully that made sense, but so what we're looking at is a 0.62 target here, a 1 target, or a 1.62 target. So there we go. So enough of that. Let's draw this on Bitcoin. We'll delete all that. I'll start off by drawing the larger Elliot wave that I see, and it's fairly straightforward. It looks something like this. I always have issues trying to find the starting point, but I'm really not thinking it matters too much at this point anyways. What I'm going to focus on for this video is a a set of subwaves that are in our current wave 5, and this is what's happening right now with Bitcoin. So I'm going to delete this for now, but that should just give you a basic overview of what I see here. We're on the 1-day chart. Let's go down to a 1-hour chart. Set this to auto. And okay. So on the bigger scale, this is basically what we see. These 1 and 0 aren't accurate, but this is what I had drawn earlier, just a moment ago. So we're going to start from this point, this end of wave 4, and we're going to calculate all 5 waves. So we will draw them out first. Since we have all the data here already, we can easily draw this out. And I'm going off memory here, but this should be about right. Wave 5 is somewhere up here. Okay, so we can start at the impulse wave. Because we're going to do an extension here, we're going to start at the top and go down. So 0 is at the bottom, 1 is at the top. We have our nice extensions here. And again, just to go over this kind of a faster method to not have to draw the wave 2 retrace, we can use this impulse fib. So in this case, we're looking for a 0.5 or a 0.382 retrace. And we retraced at about 0.5 in this case. And you'll notice that we went a little bit below on this chart, but that's okay. It didn't stay down there long, and we had a nice big bounce back up. So wave 1 is there. It's an impulse wave. As it grows, you're going to be, starting from the bottom, keep your 0 fib here, and you're going to be, placing your number 1 fib up as it climbs. Set it to each high that it makes, and then watch for the retrace. Again, we have a beautiful 0.5 retrace here, and so we can carry on calculating wave 3. So let's go back to the PDF. Wave 3. So we have 1 and 2. 50% of 62. We know we bounced at 50%, so we'll move to wave 3. Wave 3 is related to wave 1 by one of the following: either 1.62, 2.62, or 4.25, the length of wave 1. Of course, we have the length of wave 1 already drawn out with extensions, and we have our 1.62, 2.62, and 4.25 already checked off here and present. So there they all are, and we'll be referring to these in the future, potentially. So wave 3. Right, so 1.62, 2.62, or 4.25 of wave 1. It looks like in this case we bounced off of the 2.62. Now I'm drawing this on the Kraken chart for the first time. Usually I use BitMEX. And on the BitMEX chart we actually bounced off this level beautifully. So it's just interesting that there's many exchanges out there for Bitcoin, and I think when it comes to drawing fibs and doing Elliot wave, you should stick to the bigger exchanges. I'm using Kraken here just because it's the only chart that I have that I don't have drawings on that I don't want to erase right now. So yeah, we could have said as we bounced off wave 2 here and started to climb wave 3 that our targets were here. And you'll notice at this level we had some interesting interaction. A lot of people basically, realized this and maybe cashed out, and a few more people bought back in, blah blah blah. Spent a few days there. Looks like 4 days actually at that level. And usually when it holds at that level like that, we're going to see a little bit more action. So we did in this case, and we came all the way up to roughly that 2.62 fib on this chart. As things are climbing, you should be watching for signs, and there was some signs here that there was some resistance, and some sideways movement in the chart is usually a good spot to consider taking some profits or adding more in some cases. So we hit that second target for wave 3. Let's move on to wave 4. Ratios for wave 4. Wave 4 is related to wave 3 by one of the following, either 24, 38, or 50% of wave 3. So we will draw a retracement, and of course retracements, we'll put the 1 at the bottom. In this case we're measuring wave 3, so we'll put it at the bottom of wave 2 and the top of wave 3. Alright, targets here are 24, 38, or 50%. And it looks like things were pretty bullish here. We only really hit that 24% on this chart. And we started to bounce, and it was a nice big bounce, which is good to see. Yeah, nothing else to say there, really. So we'll move on to wave 5. If wave 3 is greater than 1.62 or extended, let's see what happened there. We did go greater than 1.62 on wave 3. We came all the way up to just about the 2.62 level. So we're going to use this area here. Wave 5 either equals the length of wave 1, 1.62 times the length of wave 1, or 2.62 times the length of wave 1. So one trick here is really handy. If you hold your control key, you can duplicate items while dragging them. So if you hold and drag, it just makes a copy. And again, because we're using a logarithmic chart, as we move this up, it'll compress a bit, and that's okay. So, I accidentally hit my back button on my mouse. Let's try that again. So we're moving that wave 1 fib all the way up to the bottom of wave 4. So the 0 will be at the bottom of wave 4. And the 1 will be wherever it is. Remember that this was copied from the length of wave 1, so from 0 to 1 is the same length. And again, it looks a little different on a log chart, but in a linear chart, they look identical. If we copy this on a linear chart, as we move it up, it doesn't change. That requires further explanation, but I won't be covering that in this video. So I'm just going to move these prices to the right, just so we have a better view here. We'll move this over, because we don't really need that in the way right now. In fact, we'll actually delete that, because we're through with that portion. So, because it's extended, we're using these first set of guidelines here. which are based around wave 3 being extended. So targets are the length of wave 1, 1.62 or 2.62. So I'm just going to go in and remove the 4.25 fib, and these are the targets. So I'll actually, let's move these back to the right and extend these lines. And we'll zoom in here. Okay. So on BitMEX this looked a lot different, but same rules apply. So yeah, our targets are the 1.0 fib, which is here. It was 62.55 on this chart. And this isn't quite accurate. There's a mode in TradingView called magnet mode, and I actually prefer to use it just about all the time. But if you enable that and start dragging items, you can get them to essentially grab on to the top and bottom of candle bodies or the top and bottom of the wicks. And you can get some really accurate calculations with that. You have to try that for yourself. So yeah, targets are 1, 1.62, and 2.62. So as you can see, we're moving on up. We got to that 1.0 fib here and bounced down, but we didn't go past this fib here, I notice, and so it held, and we eventually broke through. Once it came to this point, since we're above and we're holding, it's typically, especially with BTC, it's been so bullish lately. You could enter here safely, in my eyes, and ride it all the way to this next target. Here it's a little bit more interesting. There's a lot more action here, and you can tell, people are a little bit more unsure about this level than this level down here. But I think the same rules apply. If we hold above this fib line, we can reach this target yet, but you're going to have to watch very carefully. So one more thing that's helpful in finding wave 5 targets is using the Elliot channel technique. So I'm just going to touch on this briefly here. As far as TA goes, a lot of people, when we're in this situation, are using some other trend lines. For example, this one is a very common one. It's very easily spotted. We have a high here, and we see interaction below the line here, and we shot above, bounced off of it here, kind of thing. So that's a very common one. As far as Elliot channels go, the way we do them is quite simple. So we'll use our channel tool, but we're basically putting the bottom of the channel on the bottom of wave 2 and wave 4, and we put the top of the channel in line with wave 1, and then we draw another channel the same way with the top on wave 3. And there's some guidelines that go around these, and there's some stats as well in the rest of the PDF. But yeah, there's usually you'll have to read these through, and just it'll give you some guidelines there. I don't have much experience with them yet to know how well they hold up, and like I say, there's many other trend lines that people are using in this case. to trade with. So take them with a grain of salt at this point, but yeah, we'll try drawing some here. So let's go logarithmic auto. Go down here. So we'll use our channel tool. We'll start down here at the bottom of wave 2 and the bottom of wave 4, and then we'll extend this to top of wave 1. And we'll do that again. Bottom of wave 2, bottom of wave 4, and we'll extend it to wave 3. In this case, they're pretty much the same, so let's just delete that. So yeah, what it's saying is usually it's either going to hit the top of one of those two channels. In this case, they're the same, so it's pretty simple. But yeah, as far as I can tell, if you were to believe this this guideline, looks like we might hit that third target up here at $8,100 roughly on this chart. I'll draw two parallel lines. So usually if wave 3 was a normal wave, wave 5 tends to end on the channel drawn from the wave 3 top. So in this example, that's here. Wave 3 extended a little bit past the wave 1 channel. If wave 3 was extended and a runaway type of wave, which it is in this case, wave 3 was extended, it went past the 1.62 fib. So if wave 3 was extended and a runaway type of wave, wave 5 tends to end on the channel drawn from the top of wave 1. And yeah, if you draw this on other charts, Bitstamp, for example, or BitMEX are one of the two bigger ones. These are going to look a little bit different. On BitMEX especially, there's a little bit more volatility on BitMEX. So it's good to draw these on multiple Bitcoin charts, I guess. But yeah, so usually with Elliot channels, it'll hit the top of the channel and then fall, even if it's, you know, perhaps below this target. So it's good to keep an eye on that. And on this chart, it looks great. It goes right in between those waves, the highs and the lows. So I guess that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know, and yeah, have fun.